About 4 months ago, in September 2024, I created my first Mythic level rankings video. It did alright with 3,500 views as of currently. Of course, times have changed since I ranked the levels in that video. There were only 6 Mythics when I made it. Now, there are twice that number, and I decided to make an updated list because of this fact. Also, I'm sorry if I pronounce any names wrong, just let me know in the comments if I do. And in case you're wondering, yes, I will include Tears of Denial. I know it got demoted, but it was Mythic at some point, so I'm gonna rank it anyway. In my opinion, that was totally unfair, and I bet a ton of people will agree with me on that one, considering the circumstances. But instead of adding it in the list regularly, I'm gonna be adding it as an honorable mention between 2 other levels, so look out for that. Anyways, without further ado, time to rank the 14, technically 15, Mythic levels of Geometry Dash as of writing this script. Enjoy. You were expecting this placement, weren't you? To be completely honest with you, Button Masher is just your average pixel/daily level with a touch more creativity. From what I've heard, Viper either rated this himself or Brad Top to rate it for him, which is supposedly why it even got Mythic in the first place. No, I'm not hating on Viper, but seriously, Mythic? That's like giving yourself an A+ on a test you barely put any effort into. Not saying Viper put 0 effort into this level, but it's more the level just wasn't Mythic worthy at all. Possibly legendary, but even those chances are low. If it was up to me, Button Masher would only be an epic demon, and I'm sure there are many who would agree with me on that one. First things first, I like this level a lot more than Button Masher. With that said, I do somewhat agree with the Mythic ranking it has received. For one, the atmosphere has so much personality along with the vibe shown so far. Threat of the World used pixel blocks in such a unique way. I've developed a huge liking to these specific aspects of the level. Sure, it has some visually annoying segments, but it's the effort that counts, as well as elements such as gameplay. Personally, I can't really judge that kind of thing, especially for an extreme demon, so it'd probably be best if I just moved on. Easily the most iconic Mythic level in the game, besides Rage Quit, the Towerverse is a sick first Mythic, although it may be a little bit on the basic side decoration-wise. However, there are certain elements to this level that I admit I have glazed over at one point or another. For one, the dialogue system. I'm pretty sure I know how this works, but it's kinda time consuming. These talking mushrooms, I mean toadstools, are a perfect addition too. Do I really have to explain? Anyways, the overall simplicity of the Towerverse is essentially my only reason for putting this any lower or agreeing with some people that this level is better off Legendary. But nah, Mythic fits it well even at a lower standpoint. Another Mythic from the J Shadow as per usual. This creator and Moistendag are probably some of the grindiest creators in the community, both having 2 Mythics each, if you can believe that, as well as at least 1 Legendary. As I will say, however, most of their rates are highly well deserved. It's clear they care about the standards of their levels, even if they are kind of grinding Mythics at this point. Enough about them, though. The menu is a great, sequel to Throat of the World? I'm not really sure. Besides that conspiracy, yes, I do like this level a lot. The intro is really sick, the way the 2 creators walk up to each other and then do a gesture that symbolizes a collaboration. Not exactly sure what it could be besides a dap, or maybe I'm just stupid. I've never seen an intro quite like this one. Right away, we see this absolutely gorgeous looking menu. The way these pixel blocks are displayed, just as short as the world, is so satisfying. It really executes the vibe it's going for so well. Also, as a parallax glazer, this level hits crazy. I know it isn't the most advanced parallax ever, but how does that stop me? See what effects you can make with a few specific move inputs? That's why I love this game so much. A few more things to consider, like the wall climbing gimmick. I love the simple detail of the player's hands grabbing onto the vines. It's pretty satisfying to play. Also, this depth effect is crazy. I know I'm glazing this level a lot for number 11 on the list, but this genuinely is a great level. Not the best, however, as we still have 10 more levels to cover. Bear with me. This level is slightly controversial due to a certain area which is said to be totally rigged, so I'm gonna do a quick review and move on. Pixel Path 2 opens with this epic helicopter sequence where your player can view a portion of the surrounding environment with the headlights of the vehicle. At some point you get struck by lightning and fall into the water below. Now, this is one of the coolest pixel levels out there, in my opinion. This depth effect is one of the best I've ever seen, and the visuals, as Colin put it, literally made my jaw drop. As everyone says, and I quote, "The end screen is insane. Love the end screen. End screen made me shit my pants." I can 100% agree with those comments. However, focusing not on visuals but gameplay, Pixel Path 2 takes a darker turn down the rabbit hole. Well, it's not really a rabbit hole, but you get the idea. Large amounts of gameplay are just really irritating to play. And if you know anything about Geometry Dash, you know gameplay is one of the most crucial elements of a level. Honestly, this is one of the worst Mythics gameplay-wise. Other than that, I think I need a Pixel Path 3 right now. Welp, I added this level to the list after it received Mythic about an hour ago as of writing this script, and I must say, this Grongus that I have to feed, I would do anything for the little guy. Just look at it. This is the first non-demon Mythic platformer in the game, which it shouldn't be. We should have had that achievement a long time ago. But here we are, I guess. The actual goal of this level makes it much more enjoyable in my opinion, because instead of just exploring a cavern or whatever, you're doing it for your adorable little Grongus. There's an objective to be completed, and it makes it a lot more sad at the end when I'm not really sure what he does exactly. Either he blasts off into outer space or he explodes. Or both. A little hard to tell. Either way, I freaking love the Grongus. Again, and I'd do anything for it. 10 out of 10, I would feed my Grongus again. Good times, good times. Ever since the release of Rage Quit over half a year ago, the community has gone wild over it. And to be fair, it is a great level, as expected from Blee. However, it has grown to be way too overrated, literally topping the Towerverse in likes and nearly in downloads. But just because the level is overrated doesn't make it bad. In fact, Rage Quit is quite based. There's not much about this level that hasn't been said. Yes, the cinematic elements are insane, but the gameplay is just stereo madness and there's not much going for it. Even as a remake for that Waboo competition. That doesn't stop it from being a necessarily good level, but it decreases the quality of it quite a lot in my opinion. Don't ask me what I was thinking putting Rage Quit in first place in my last Mythic rankings video. It probably would have been 3rd or 4th place at the time of only having 6 Mythics in the game if I were to do that now. But I would never fail the GOAT like that, so today, I guess 8th place will do. This creator tends to collab with the J Shadow a ton, so you know his own level is about to go crazy. The comments surrounding Terminus are insanely positive to no one's surprise. All I can really say is, god damn. The way Terminus represents itself is just stunning. Don't even get me started on how fun it is to play. If the Space Gauntlet allowed platformer mode, this would have seen around 5th place. I was originally going to complain about the optimization of the level on behalf of people with lower end devices, but after looking into the editor a bit more, I realized Terminus is crazy optimized. Just look at this editor. It's absolutely packed with triggers, maps, artwork, and text. Would you believe me if I said this was only 21,000 objects? Yeah, I don't think so either. I have heard of reports from people with potatoes that say they were experiencing lag, but their loss. Mostly I just see comments about how difficult Terminus can be, and that's usually all the close negatives I see. Great work as usual. I still remember the moment when I opened this level for the first time prior to the NCS Gauntlet winners, which was announced in like October. Mind blown to say the least. I've seen 3D and Geometry Dash before, and I'm sure most of you guys have too, but this was insane. WannaCry was nothing like I'd ever seen before. For one, the song is just downright amazing. It perfectly matches the theme and gameplay of the level, which one of those things isn't all that good. Pop quiz! What is the most faulted quality of WannaCry by Kira9999? A. Gameplay. B. Deco. C. Song. Or D. Overrated. If you picked A, you are correct. If you picked B or C, you're kinda strange, but I'll get over it. If you picked D, yeah, I can see that. Anyways, the gameplay of the level is much more important than the popularity, if you couldn't already tell. WannaCry opens with a very stunning effect, which happens to be the short tunnels used for the first part of the level. As this level's camera is a back view of the player, it can be pretty annoying to play at times. You might be saying, use practice mode, you idiot. Yeah, I tried that too. But even practice mode didn't do it for me. There's always that one jump that gets me. Skill issue, I know. Besides the gameplay, no, I do not have any complaints. I do agree with the NCS winners list as WannaCry was placed 4th, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. This level goes way too hard. The first thing I'm gonna say is, do you see a single negative review on this level? I think not. The concept really did something, y'all. Seriously, when was the last time you saw a freaking card game in Geometry Dash? Anyways, like many, I've played this level casually before, and it absolutely blew my mind the first time I laid eyes on it. I love the variety included within the 3 different cults, and the amount of effort this level executed is just incredible. Biggest understatement of the century by far. Mad respect for Sovereignty here. Putting together an entire card game with 3 or more routes had to have taken at least a few months working non-stop. You would have to think up an idea for everything, even each individual card, code your ideas into Geometry Dash, maybe even touch a blade of grass every month or so, and in this case, compose all 5 of the level songs, which is what Sovereignty did here. This man's fingers have been sacrificed just for a GD card game, which just happens to be one of the most favored mythics in the entire game. Maybe not even just in the mythic category. Dude, if I even had a single complaint for this masterpiece, it would be religious issues because, well, the level follows a hypothetical cult, so of course somebody's going to have a problem with that. The name itself implies this, however, so don't play the level if you don't think it will do you good, you know. But besides going against religion, I don't see a single downside except for some visually appealing text spacing. I doubt that's intentional though. So again, props to Sovereignty for creating this masterpiece of a level just for the community of a silly $4 cube game and not releasing it on Steam or whatever. An odd decision, I must admit. Tears of Denial was always a controversial level, but that doesn't make it bad. It's quite sick, in fact. I haven't actually bothered to beat it yet, but from the videos, just wow. I've always loved Mattewgame's style and his levels, if you can even call them that. RPG masterpieces fit them better. And if you recall, remember when this level got demoted to Legendary because Mattewgame quote-unquote stole some ideas and concepts from games such as Elden Ring, Worldless, and Blasphemous? That situation was crazy. He did apologize though, but Rob the Robber was too stubborn to do anything else besides downgrade the level to Legendary. Sheesh. The second ever Mythic level and the first classic one, Astrolith is undoubtedly an iconic work among the community, and it just happens to be one of my favorite classic levels of all time. Just look at this freaking masterpiece. And the fact that it'll be a year old in June, if I'm correct, is insane. The general effort put into the art alone is jaw-dropping. And yes, again, as a parallax glazer, super heat. The subtle effects in the first part really strike a nerve. The little details that are totally unnecessary but make the level in general so much better. In the first part, for example, the sign, this headband wearing rock thing, the potion that turns you into a swing copter, the Astrolith language, and much, much more. The rest of Astrolith houses the same greatness feeling, if not more of it. I have heard rumors of this level being slightly rushed, however, but if it was, that's just holy sharp. I would go over every part in this level if I could, but I probably shouldn't spend too much time on it as I need to review everything else, and I can't have the script longer than it already is. I'd be cooked. So I'll quickly recap the last part as well. In my opinion, Astrolith has the absolute perfect conclusion. It starts off a little in the shadows, but quickly it becomes sunny again, just like a lot of the rest of the level. And I bet you can guess what I'm about to say next. Smack! The only complaint I have with this last part is the gameplay. Some jumps are kinda awkward, and it can be hard to tell where you need to go sometimes. But otherwise, true banger. You really cooked Arclea, but not as hard as in the next level. Welp, we're on to the top 3 now. This is, in my opinion, the better Arclea Mythic. Not by a lot, though. I love the sillier, more comical vibe compared to a more seriously themed level such as Astrolith. It surely gives the creators a bigger opportunity to make something kind of goofy, yet keeping it at masterpiece standards. Especially considering the editor of Astrolith, y'all needed something to keep you busy for real. Anyways, the first second of this level, already in my top 3 mythics. You gotta love the next blank soon of the theme as well. The way the level name abbreviates to NCS is epic. Plus the transitions. Next wall soon, next call subpixel, next subscriber you. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you really should subscribe, it helps me out a ton. Next cab soon surely deserved Mythic and second place in the NCS Gauntlet. The coin was kind of hell, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. And the decoration, this shit is way too goated for me to handle. Y'all cooked a little too hard. Not to mention the variety of each part, they did such a good job at keeping this level feel alive. By the way, my next favorite Mythic level also happens to be an NCS Gauntlet winner. The winning entry for the NCS Gauntlet, Berserker, is one of the finest levels to date, in my opinion. Now, I do agree with the community in terms of whether the level should have been second or third place, but in my opinion, it's still one of the sickest looking levels one could cook up. A very common trait among Mythic levels is tiny details that are very unnecessary but make the level better by hundreds. In Berserker, there are so many that I can't count, but I'll go over a few that are noticeable enough. In the first part, there's these subtle wave designs in the blocks, and on one of them where the wave is supposed to be, it's a cube jumping over a spike, which is a genuinely solid detail. Gotta love the reference. The oscillogram in the second part is also a very splendid touch. I definitely did not spend 20 minutes trying to figure out what those vertical audio lines are called. But you know what's even better? They act as a solid object in the part just before the drop. How cool is that? They also make an appearance in the yellow orb crowd scene, which just happens to be right before the part I was yapping about previously. The drop though? Give me some! The drop essentially sends Berserker into madness. You've got stuff like coexisting with a giant spike ball who is destroying the city, because I guess he wants his vengeance. You then crash into a building, smash into Rob, at least I think that's Rob, and then you face the horrors of Jason and his terrifying chainsaw. Yes, quite the experience indeed. But oh, that's not all. We can't forget about Skeleton Dave and his crazy Berserker car. Top 5 most badass characters in fiction. That's how it ends too. Skeleton Dave driving off a cliff. What could be a more perfect ending to a chaotic level like this? I have no idea. So, are you ready for me to yap about my favorite Mythic level of all time? Drumroll, please. I don't know if it's just me, but Quarion is one of, if not the coolest platformer level in the entire game. In my opinion, at least. And Collins too, if I remember correctly. What a coincidence. I'm a huge fan of the style represented in Quarion. This level is its own game, no shit. Similar to Terminus and Dead God Cult, Zjoent could have released his masterpiece on Steam and get the attention this project truly deserves. I mean, there is a serious amount of effort put into this level. I mean, how long did this take you exactly? Must have been a long ass time. Quarion has robbed of a higher rating kind of effort. I don't normally have a favorite GD level, mostly because it's impossible for me to choose, plus I'm unbiased. But Quarion definitely upped my opinion on favorites ever since its debut. Not my hypothetical favorite level of all time, but it gets insanely close on consideration. Honestly, I have zero complaints. It's that good. Unless you count the vague consistency issue. But with that said, Quarion on top. In my opinion, absolutely one of, if not the best level in the history of the entire game. So, that was my new and improved version of my old Mythic rankings. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm so sorry it took so long. I had another era of procrastination. Expect more consistent uploads in the future. Please, if you can, possibly like the video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos such as this. Dude, this script is 6.5 whole pages and took me about a week to write. That should be enough to get you to subscribe. Thank you to the creators who brought forth these magnificent levels into the community, because this video would have been a lot shorter if it wasn't for you. To anyone at all who watched up to this point, thank you very much. It means so much to me that you enjoyed my project. And with all of that out of the way, see you in the next one.